Shalom, everybody. Rabbi Edelstein here with a special Eve of Passover edition of Rabbi E in 3. In just a few hours, we'll be at our Seder, this beautiful, beautiful holiday, uplifting, lovely, sweet holiday of Pesach. And we're going to be asking lots of questions, certainly 4, probably more. But like, more matzo ball soup, please. That counts as a question. Here's a question for you and for me to think about that maybe you've never considered before. How is it? It's not my own idea. Great rabbis, way greater than me, a long time ago pointed this out. How is it that on the night of our freedom, and indeed freedom is the essence of Passover, right? It's called the time of our freedom. How is it that on the night when we relive our freedom, we have more rules, regulations, instructions, directions, guidelines than any other Jewish night of the year? Eat this, sitting this way, in this amount of time, drink this, drink this. The very word Seder means order. Is that freedom? Isn't that a contradiction to freedom? I think that's a great way to start your Seder, by the way. Ask that question, right? So, a lot of ways to approach it, of course. In general, structure, discipline, order, guidelines, rules are no contradiction to freedom. We know that without any structure or order, there's chaos, anarchy, or we're slaves to our own whims and temptations of the moment. So, in general, structure can allow for freedom to exist. That's true in terms of traffic laws or any rules of any sort. But the rules we follow on the night of Pesach are very different. They're mitzvot, they're commandments, some from the Torah, some that our rabbis enacted, but we do more mitzvot, commandments, holy commandments on the night of Passover than any other night of the year. That makes sense. Why? Why did God give us freedom? He actually put us down in Egypt in the first place, and we can think about that at the Seder. That's part of our history, what we had to go through. We emerged as a people, a nation, when we got out of Egypt. But where were we going? He took us out to bring us directly to, not the land of Israel, that's the next stop, Mount Sinai, where we received the mitzvot, the commandments of the Torah, where we enthusiastically grabbed onto the offer to be a holy nation. We said, Na'aseh v'nishma, to God, and we accepted the commandments, right? The mitzvot. The mitzvot that connect us to Him, that connect us to something higher in life, that connect us to a deeper part of ourselves, that help elevate ourselves in the world. Passover leads directly to the holiday that is the reliving of the getting of the Torah, by the way. That's called Shavuos. Many people don't know that. 50 days after Pesach, we celebrate Shavuos. We can only fully understand the freedom and the meaning, and the freedom and the meaning of Passover when we think about how it leads inextricably to Shavuos. The Exodus led to Mount Sinai. God knew that from the beginning. He told Moses that from the very beginning of the burning bush prophecy. Okay, so what kind of rules and regulations are we doing on Passover night? The ones that we chose. We accepted at Mount Sinai. The rules that were the very meaning of the freedom that God granted us, miraculously. But you might say, well, okay, but we're still like, exchanging one kind of bondage for another. Slaves to Pharaoh, servants to God. That's a good way of putting it, but totally different. The mitzvot, they bring out our inner freedom. They're not just any old rules. They connect us, as I mentioned before, to the deepest part of ourselves. They nourish our souls. They free us from the limitations of our own smallness, pettiness, laws of nature, right? Of course, we live in this world. We have to follow the laws of nature, but we learn on Pesach night that really we're connected to something above nature, to the source of the laws of nature, to Hashem Himself. And all the mitzvot give us that inner freedom from our limitations. Have a wonderful Passover. Enjoy the freedom and realize that we left the horrible, constricting bondage of Pharaoh to become beautiful servants of Hashem. Chag Sameach, and hear me later, another time.